Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide here podcast featuring the one and only Akia Pruitt.
I like the intro for sure.
You know,
Definitely
gotta hype up the energy. You know, I'm here for it, and gotta always show the love and support to a fellow NC Hooper all the way from here to the overseas. So gotta show the support and love. So,
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
how you doing, sir?
I'm good.
That's
Yeah,
good.
hey, resting right now. Got a game tomorrow, so just
Oh,
chilling.
ooh, I know game time is about to be lit for you.
It's fun. It's been some trials and tribulations, but I definitely look forward to game days for sure.
I know that's right. So let's get started. So Key, can you tell us like how you got to where you are in your sports story?
Let's see. I probably would say it probably started my eighth grade year at Flat Rock. That's probably my first year taking basketball somewhat seriously. Uh, I was on the team with Harry Giles and quite a few other guys that either went on to play basketball or play football. Some made it to the NFL. So I think it started there. Then my freshman year, I met Kenneth Bates, and then my sophomore year, I started playing AAU with Team Winston, and that's where I think things started to like take off for me, my development, because I had always started like playing football and stuff. Played Pop Warner for like 6 years and stuff. So my love was with football until my sophomore year of high school. So then that's when the love changed, and I started playing basketball. I went to R.J. Reynolds High School, class of 2016. I was recruited heavily by UNC Pembroke, which was like in my top three throughout my whole probably like senior year. Um, Went there, was close to getting freshman of the year. Uh, I got defensive player of the year my sophomore year with a 100 block season. I got player of the year my senior year. Um, all conference every year. So yeah, it was just I don't know. I just kept my head down and just grinded every year, and just some results came, and I became pro. It wasn't always the goal in the beginning, but once I seen that it was there, I took it.
First, man, you were part of that loaded class of 2016. That class of 2016 was loaded with players.
Very, yeah, especially in North Carolina for sure.
What was that like for you? You went from football to basketball. What was that, the transition like going from that one sport to the other to where like I'm gonna stick to this?
Well, like I said, my first love was football, but as I got older and things kind of weren't like I would say going my way, and I saw basketball and saw how fast I was like improving, like my love just for it. But football kind of made me who I am, sort of like the way I run the court, all that. I think played a role in my.
It's because it's so interesting because it's like when you see a lot of like you see when in high school you see like a lot of the dual players that play the football and then go to basketball once football season is over. So it's like, oh, they get the advantage because like if you play football you know how to run through the people in basketball, or if it's the other way around. But you being from Winston, what's that like to be part of the Winston-Salem hoop legacy?
I think it's dope. I think I like the pressure on my shoulders of keeping that alive and just trying to keep the culture alive. I think we have a lot of good hoopers and a good basketball scene, but I think like the last few years it has kind of fallen off. So I like to, you know, keep hooping, play pro as many years as I can, hopefully till I'm 40, and I don't know, just continue to keep that alive. When I come home, I try to play as many times as I can. I love to go play pickup, no matter where it's at, who it's with. Like I just love to go hoop. So
What does it mean for you to be from Winston that a lot of people don't like may like wonder like what does it mean to you to be from Winston?
I think it's a great city. I think it's a good place to raise your kids and have a family. I think it's not too big, not too small. A lot of people know each other, but it's still not a very, very small city. Um, I think it made me who I am, and I love the culture of the city. It's like a hard nosed sort of like working community. So I love it.
Cause I'm gonna tell y'all this, like Winston Hoopers, y'all get it out the mud. Like they work hard. Like when I like seen it, I was like, especially in the summer, like from the league, I'm like, they really love this game. They really love it to the point like I'm just like, this is the type of hoopers that I really like, really enjoy and respect. Cause like, this is my type of like, this is like, I love the game. And it's like,
Mhm.
when you see the people that you really love the game, that loves it and respects it, it's like, I'm here for it. So for you, what would you say are, who would you say are some of like the hoopers from Winston that you grew up looking up to or that you got a chance to play with?
Well, I know a lot of people. If you're from Winston, you're gonna throw the name out, Harry Giles for sure. So, like I said, my eighth grade year was like my first introduction on my team. So, I think always like being around him, having those battles, especially I want to say starting like my sophomore year of high school and stuff. Like from there, working out with Ben every day, battling for getting number one play like that. And I also was able to spar for him a good look because I'm also 6'7" myself and was a pretty good player. So we was able to match up and put each other when we weren't doing stuff like that. I think it was pretty dope. One of my mentors, Walt Baxley, uh, he just taught me like grit, hard work, what it's like to like I didn't know anybody before me really about overseas. Um, with Oakland Fest, those like two guys like helped me see like what that life is like, what you can do with it. So for me, those are three guys off top, along with Ken, help bring grit to my game, help me show more emotion. Because I think without him, like I wouldn't be where I'm at. Like I'm a very introverted person that was show on the court, but with Ken and help bring out the other side of me that I need to make it where I am today.
For sure. First of all, shout out to Coach Bates for real. Shout out to Lab Work because the man always says he creates leaders. He don't do followers, and I'm like, yep. Every person, I was like shout out to Coach for real.
For
Like
sure. That's
man,
definitely a testament for him for sure. Like you're not gonna it ain't gonna be too many times you're gonna meet somebody that dealt and worked out with him and find out they done got in trouble or did something they're not supposed to do. Everybody's usually on the straight and narrow and goes. So for sure, like he's definitely one of those ones in the community.
man, say that again, because like it. I always say like it's one of those things where when you have a coach that actually, when you have a coach or a mentor that actually believes in you both on and off the court, I think it's so important. And you know, he being a huge staple in the Winston-Salem community, like what does that mean for you to have a coach like Coach Bates to be, you know, to make a huge impact in, you know, the Winston-Salem hoops, but also out off the court.
Hey, he's like the one of the uncles I never had. I ain't gonna lie, he helped raise me some of the things about being about hard work, about ethics. Um, like I said, without him, I wouldn't be where I am. Me and him at 14 years old was a game for me for my wife. Um, and he was somebody who didn't ask for a lot in return. He loved doing what he would do it without paying. I mean, of course, he got to do that, but like he didn't ask me for much. He was like heart and this like that. Somebody I can call on and talk to at any point in time when any problem I have.
For sure, because man, like I said, it's like I said, it's just one of those things. Like I ain't never thought of like an uncle though. I was like, okay, uncle. Now I see why they got the uncle titles. Like now,
Yeah.
but one of the biggest things that you know is heart. Like you got to really have heart to do what you really love to do and stuff. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the biggest thing for sure. And you know, you went to Pembroke. You know, what would you say are some of the misconceptions of the competition that Pembroke is in for the division?
Well, yeah, it's always a knock on playing Division II, especially when you're making that transition from college to pro. Like if you don't have a D1 stamp on your name, they're gonna try to start you in the worst situations or the lowest money possible and stuff like that, not realizing and not being from the states that that's one of the best Division II leagues in the country, and they very very much throughout the year and a lot throughout the year they get a lot of transfers from D1 players and stuff, playing Queens, playing Lincoln Memorial throughout the years and stuff like that. Like it's top level competition, and a lot of guys that could have easily played D1 that just slipped through the cracks.
It's just, you point that out for sure. Is like a lot of people like to downplay, like if it's not Division 1, it's like, but it's like if you think about it, you know, you could be Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, and AIA. It's still like a privilege and an honor that somebody's looking at you and wants you on your team and stuff. Like if somebody really wants you, it's like they really want you on your team. Like they believe in you, and they so the transition going from say the D2, the collegiate level, to the overseas. What was that transition like for you?
My transition was tough. It's definitely a story. My senior year was during COVID, so as we were going into the NCAA tournament, we were literally on the road going. As we were, I think, like halfway there, we were getting calls and stuff and trying to figure out what's going on. Like the tournament, trying to figure out why, and we found out it was COVID. So we had to turn the bus around, went back to school, trying to figure out what's going on, and I see. I didn't know at the time that I could apply to get my year back, but no one told me. So I ended up staying home. I was doing DoorDash and staying in it. So I did that for like a year. Towards the end of that year, I had ended up getting offers to go play overseas, but it was like for $500, $650 a month, and I'm like, I can't survive off this. I know my work. I know the work I done put in, accolades I got. Like I can't accept it. So I ended up waiting a few more months and got a job in Slovakia. That's when my career started.
Man, I was man, COVID changed everything when it came to the basketball like world. Like you were in the middle, so y'all were in the middle of going to the tournament and got the in the middle of that like road trip. The call that specific call came, just like
Yep.
everybody had to go home and everything.
Yep. We had to return the bus around and went back to school.
That man, that had to be one of those like those heartbroken moments. Like man, I'm just like we just wanted to play so bad.
For sure. I just had one of those moments last week where only in Uruguay, where I play now, where we had a game on a Friday, a fan made an idle threat and canceled our game. And we had previously not played 2 3 weeks before that, so that excitement and that juice of wanting to play was like it was very disappointing. So yeah, it's the same feeling then.
Dang. So with overseas life, first of all, I think overseas basketball, like the competition, like I from watching some events, it is crazy tough.
Mhm.
Um, from your perspective, what would you say are some of the misconceptions of overseas competition?
Mm. I mean, everybody looks at us, but it's not true. When all aspects, there's so many people in this world that play, whether they play professional or not, it's a hard task itself. It's 400 years, so, and it's a lot of people that never play basketball. So to be professional, I would say it's love within itself because it's still not every day somebody that plays professional basketball for a living. But I would say like the misconception would be like kind of levels is not that great. Yes, it's some levels it's not that great, but it's very great league in the world and very much.
Cause man, cause so you would you say like there's so the overseas competition you're in, like the league you're in, are they like say like the different sections of levels and everything, like say like a league, a B league, or is it totally different?
It depends on the country, but right now where it's pretty people really pay to, to our continent. where every year the top two from second will move up to first, last first go to second, and the same with third division like that sort of. So, but the league I play is probably top South America right now. So South American basketball is for sure definitely very definitely have to put a lot on your shoulders as a foreigner. Only two or three foreigners per team. Um, yeah, like I said, top three is very physical. South American basketball is very physical.
So for sure, it's because I when I heard like over, I was like, man, I totally almost forgot that South Americans have like overseas teams. Because like when you think, I look at it, it's like when I thought of overseas teams, like you have the Year of the Ages. It's like, oh man, why did I forget South America? It's just like, oh Lord. um, so what would you say the experience from overseas? What would you say it has taught you both as an athlete and a man? What would you say it has taught you? You know, both on and off the court.
I would say as an athlete, it's just the adversity you go through. Every situation, every number of foreigners a team has, and the role they I've accepted the roles where I'm the guy, one option. And I led the team. I've accepted the role where I'm the third, fourth, fifth option. I got to come off the bench, play my role, and still have a positive stuff. So, I mean, that's definitely. I would say like 2025 for me is definitely a rough year of having roles where I'm the third or fourth option. Back guy, that same mentality that I had before. So that's been my. I think it's great because it ain't a story of everything comes in. I mean, there's ups and downs to it, and I think I'm on the upper part of it for sure. Um, as a man, I would say, like I said, dealing with adversity, dealing with things off the court, because everything isn't happy all the time. Like sometimes you go into a situation where you don't like your living and where you're staying, your apartment may not have been clean, the money may not be on time, you don't like your role with the team, um, food may be bad. It's a lot of things that could go into it that you got to deal with, work your way through. Because at the I'm playing the game I love, but also I have a family to take care of and stuff too, and financial. So it can be tough at times like that too.
For sure. First of all, congratulations on that. You are officially like congratulations on fatherhood, sir. 'Cause I was like, oh, he back early. I was like, because usually I was like, wait, I thought he was overseas. I was like, this is a surprise to come back early. It's like, what happened? And I was like, you know what? I was like, so, and this leads to my question. You know, how do you balance fatherhood and basketball all at the same time?
That's a good question. It's still very early for me for sure, and I got to learn that. But I've seen guys on my team as well as guys older than me, like how they handle their family in different situations. And one of the positives is, like for example, if I sign to go with a team and I know I'm gonna be there for 8 or 9 months, sometimes you can work into your contract, getting an extra few tickets in your contract, and they can fly your family out and they can be with you for a certain amount of time and stuff like that. So just finding ways to work the system and find out like when in your season you're going to have a break or dead time or something so you can travel home and see your family and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of getting your foot in the door as a pro and figuring out when you have breaks and what you can do in your situation.
For sure, because I've been wondering, like, man, there's so much. It's like, how do you guys balance this? Especially like saying the over, like, far away and like every. I was like, how do y'all do this?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And my question for you is, I always say that athletes are humans first. For you, as as a black man, a father, and an athlete, how important is mental health to you?
It's very important. I'm somebody that's not very open with what's going on in my head or what's going on with me, but I have a select few people that I let into my world to help me. So I feel like it's important to always have those few people that can tell you the real, tell you if you're doing something wrong, put you on the right path, have somebody you could talk to and talk through things that's going on in your life, and that those people that can also build you up. So I definitely think that's important, especially in the situation where I'm in, where I'm not home all the time. So just having those people you could call on for me is very important because sometimes you can get lost standing in these four walls when you don't have practice and stuff like that, and you just sitting there alone by yourself.
Do you hope to see, I've always wondered this, like, because I've always wondered why is it that, why do say, and just I want to hear from your like perspective, you know, why do you believe that some men or male athletes don't speak up when it comes to like mental health? Like, why do you believe that some men or male athletes don't speak up when it comes to mental health?
I think especially our culture is kind of soft, um, or just like don't aren't it's not normal to most guys. They didn't grow up doing it. But you weren't taught from your father and stuff like that to open yourself up. So I think that it's becoming more of a norm, and it's somewhat of a good thing. And that I don't know, just culturally, like people are starting to see that important sides that benefit everybody.
Because I always wonder, it's like, I've always wondered, like, why do they not like speak up or anything? But then again, it's like, it's almost, and correct me if I'm wrong, like, it seems like there's like, say, some type of like, there's that stigma where they have to be strong all the time, if they have to, you know, being strong all the time, they can't show emotions or anything. So, but I mean, I could be wrong if that was, but
No, no, for sure. That's definitely a thing. Like I said, you, one thing I would say people learn is like it's also who you open up to, especially always got going on out there in the world. But like find those select stuff like it's sure a benefit.
that makes sense though. Like just being that you gotta be very and you gotta be very selective on who you open up about and stuff because, you know, that makes perfect sense of what you say. You got, being selective of opening up on certain people because some people may not understand it or some may try to kind of like, I could correct me if I'm wrong. Some may try to get that information and then later on may kind of use it against you. Like, didn't you just say this? And it's like, yeah, I opened it up to you, but why are you using it against me now? Like, so, but that's you made a that's I gotta really pop. That made me really think now. It's like now I see, but I just I just be always wondering sometimes, like, man, like, because for me, I feel like this. This is why I take a man's mental health serious, especially athletes' mental health, men's mental health, because I feel like there needs to be have there needs to be like for them to have a safe space where they are respected and heard,
Mm-hmm.
and they're able to have that safe space where they're, just be open, be free. So that's just me. But I always say some people ain't ready for that conversation though. So, but
Yeah, for sure.
so my question for you is I definitely see you as an advocate for women's basketball, women's sport. So my question for you is what inspired you to advocate and support women's basketball?
Um, I mean, just off the strength and basis of just seeing women as equals for one, and seeing the work that women put in playing the sport that I love and I see they love, it's like how can you not support? Like I have no reason not to support. There's good and bad in both sports, so I see the good in women's sports. I support it. And I just say keep going. I'll be there to support.
Who would you say are some of the women hoopers that you really kind of like enjoy watching or kind of like, yeah, like that's what I like to watch.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the feud between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese for a little while, but it was more than basketball. It became more than basketball. It became like a race thing, stuff like that. But and it kind of shows you the dynamic of like where the U.S. is right now. But because I also like to study that too. Now that I'm like not always based in the U.S., I like to get an outside perspective, watch other news outlets, just see like how the rest of the world sees us. But I think that for sure was. it's good hoops between the two. Kate Clark is definitely, I think, the better of the two. But I just love to see good basketball, good rivalry. Just let it be basketball based and not racially based or anything like that. So
That's real. That's real for sure. Like that's actually the most honest answer I've ever heard too, right there. That's the most honest answer right there. And it's because it's interesting though, because like just from hearing that, like also like a lot of people have like say they got more from watching those two, and I was like, oh, I mean, if it brings more eyes, hey, I'm here for it. So,
they
but
definitely changed in basketball in the most recent times. Yeah, for sure.
yes, and my question for you is, if there was a phrase or word to describe your journey so far, what would it be?
I got a tattoo on my arm, but it's you can do anything you put your mind to. I was told that growing up, and I didn't always see what that meant. But I would say by the time I became a teenager and seeing what I could do through sports, through academics, it hit home for me, and I just stuck with it. I didn't always see the finish line and stuff like that, but I knew every day if I show up and just put work in, something good would happen.
That's real. That you could do anything with you when you put your. Ooh, let me get my tambourine for that because that's so real right there. That is so real right there. That is so real right there. I had to get that tambourine now. It is so real. Anytime I hear something so real, like boom, it goes.
I like that. I like that.
I mean, gotta like it reminds it's interesting because it's like it reminds me of that saying when you believe you could achieve, like
Hmm.
anything you put your mind to it, and if what does it mean? So this leads to my question because when you have representation, especially like having someone that looks up to you,
Hmm.
what does representation mean to you?
I mean, everything. When I house, how does the world portray? How do I portray myself? Most importantly, am I okay? How I'm seen to the world when in God's eyes and those around me. So I consciously think of, am I representing my mom and my family, those around me, in a positive light? Am I being a role model? Am I being that I could possibly be a positive light out here? Yeah, my family. So that's something I definitely have always been conscious of, and yeah.
What does it mean to you if, say, somebody like say, "Hey, man, I really look up to you, just everything." What does it mean to you for, say, someone to say they look up to you?
I mean, it's everything because I mean, when I tell somebody I play professional basketball, they light up and they love the story, but it's not something that always hit home for me. It's something that's very real for me. Somebody tell me up for me, ask me for advice because there's so many other people that's way more successful than me that they can ask. And just coming to me or having the opportunity to speak to kids and those behind me to let them know that okay, it's not the only thing out there, and there's other choices out there that you just successful and fulfilled in life. So
That's real. Like 'cause that would hit right there. Like, say if somebody were to tell you, like, and I look up to you, I'm like, yo, I don't know. I was like, I don't know, be a little it's like I want to try to cry, but like I'm gonna cry later. It's like, dang, you really do? Like I ain't trying to cry right now in front of you. I'm gonna cry later on. But like,
it's that validation to let you know you're doing something right for sure.
man, that validation for it's like that specific validation that hits a little bit deep. It's
Hmm.
like it's like how that saying, you there's only certain validations you hope to seek, but there's like other validations you don't need to like worry about. But it's like that certain specific validation, it's like hits a little deep. So it's like, man,
Yep. Let you know your existence matters for sure. People see you.
boom, period.
Yep.
Ooh. So my question for you is, so I always say that bona fide means authentic and unique, but for the men, the authenticity. So what makes Mr. Akia Pruitt authentic, and what makes your story stand out?
I don't know. I would say probably early on, everybody that you asked, knowing me from middle school, early high school, or whatever, and saying that I played professional ball, they probably wouldn't have guessed it. They probably, I was always that quiet one in the corner or in the back or something like that, and you just probably never could tell like that I would pull through with doing what I'm doing. So that's definitely the thing I think I would say. That and just hard work and ethic. I think there were a lot of people ahead of me that were like talented, more talented than me, or ranked higher than me, or name was just more out there, and I just surpassed them just from hard work. So I think when my story is told, people would just say that I worked hard, and I think I deserve to be where I am through that. So
Ooh, let me look. Because, hey, come on now. Let them know. Let them know that it's like, look, like, let them know I'm here. I'm here,
mm,
right here. You know, you see me. Like you see me, all the hard work I put in, you see me.
yeah, for sure.
Like, you better let them know, sir. You better let them know.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Key, can you let the folks know how, where they can find you, support you in any upcoming games so they can tune in and watch you play?
I'm playing in Uruguay right now. The name of the website is basketpass.com. You could sign up for a subscription and you'll be able to watch the games through there. My Instagram is f.o.u.4. And yeah, I also run a clothing brand. It's called Away From Home. It's on pause right now, but I'll be getting back into that in the summertime. So
Y'all better follow the man, the myth, the legend himself right now at
yeah.
Instagram at f.o.u.4.
Hmm.
Ooh, I had to make sure. Okay, yes. F.O.U.4. Be sure to follow him and be sure to watch his games, just like he said. And if you support real businesses, be sure to follow his clothing line too, because real recognize real, y'all. So be sure to follow him. And be sure to check out the live replay of Bonafide Her podcast, episode 220, featuring Kia Pruitt. Big shout out to Key for coming on the podcast to share your story. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.